Let's ask some more questions, shall we? Do you like asking questions? Do you ask questions yourself? Can you ask questions without someone prompting you to ask questions? And when I ask questions and ask you to ask questions, do you find them stimulating? Do you continue to ask questions of your own? Do you ever get any answers to any of the questions? I put up videos and let's say, look, on the last two videos I put up, there's 165 hits, 5 comments, 10 thumbs up. On the other one, there's 154 hits, 3 comments, and 12 thumbs up. No wonder the world's fucked. No wonder the world is fucked. You're fucked. You're fucked, people. You're completely fucked. Because you haven't got a fucking clue. You are in a state of oblivion. You are completely under hypnosis. You don't think about any fucking thing, evidently. It's so difficult for me not to demean you. And so I was having a conversation with my daughter a couple of hours prior. And I'm like, oh, fucking hell. I'm making these videos. And I'm speaking about some thought-provoking things that I think are thought-provoking. But can I get anybody to think? Can I provoke anybody to have thoughts? Evidently not. And even the comments which were on these videos, there is only one comment which states that he enjoyed the video and gave rise to thinking and opened up certain avenues in his consciousness to think about things a little bit more. I said to my daughter, you know, I'm tired of fucking banging on about my genius. Because there's two things. There's one or two things that are going on here. Either I must be a genius, or the world is full of fucking idiots. And it just makes people that think a little bit look like they're geniuses. What the fuck is going on with you guys? I would have thought, even if you didn't agree, you would have gone, well, that's an interesting concept you've got going on there, Aaron. Yeah, food for thought. Never really thought about I could be a whole collection of fucking spirits. Nobody ever told me that. And because you haven't heard it on a fucking tweet or on Facebook, you just dismiss it, don't you? Fucking shocking. Fucking shocking. You are fucking shocking. So I'm going to have to explain to you like fucking children, because you don't have a fucking clue what the ego is. You've never actually looked into what Sigmund Freud has said about the ego. You know nothing about it. You've never actually read the fucking Bible in any intellectual context, because if you had, you would have at least a discernment between the soul and the spirit, and you'd know what they were. And then you'd be able to ask yourself questions about them. Do you think that the Bible had it right? How the fuck do they know? That was 2,000 years ago. These fucking Muppets walking around in dusty fucking sandals and stinking arses. What the fuck did they know? We have to question, we can't just accept this shit that they are the authority on something. Is it really the word of God? Is it fuck the word of God? No more than it's the word of God now, people. It's all the word of God. Everybody is God. Everybody is speaking the word of God. Only most people are speaking shit. But it's still the word of God. So I ask these questions. And it appears that I'm pioneering this fucking quest. Because, albeit, there has been lots of people, like Madame Blavatsky, like Rudolf Steiner, that have spoken about spiritual dimensions, like Edgar Cayce, in communion with spirits from another dimension. And it's these people, and that's all you get from the masses. Brilliant people with a connection to the cosmos that the vast majority could never, ever even fucking dream of attaining. So when we look at the likes of Blavatsky speaking about, you see, Blavatsky, she maintained that she channeled all the things that she read via two prominent entities from another dimension. She wrote shitloads of books. There isn't a single book, I've got 3 of them on my bookshelf, there isn't a single one of them that's less than 2 fucking inches, less than 700-800 pages. And she just sat down there for hours, days, weeks, months and fucking years writing this stuff down. All different sorts of stuff about the supernatural. And then you've got people like Rudolf Steiner with other worlds, theories and philosophies and knowledge of other worlds. And here's me speaking about all the encounters that I've had, all the psychedelic experiences and meditation experiences, supernatural experiences and all these sort of things, and can't get a single one of you to go, I've had something like that, Aaron. Has any of you ever had anything like that? Or are you just fucking dead? Are you just automaton? What the fuck are you watching my videos for? What the fuck? What the fuck? So, in the Bible, it is a given that there are spirits, because spirits came down to earth. Fallen angels came down to earth and then copulated with human beings and then created Nephilim, the giants. And then there's all sorts of cherubim and demons, and then there's the devil, and then there's God and Jesus, and they're the same thing and all this fucking thing. All spirits. And guaranteed every single Christian, oh yes, Jesus, the Spirit, God's the Spirit, Satan's the Spirit. And then you ask about, well, do you think there's any other spirits? Do you think there's astral beings? And it's evil, it's not true, it's the devil. And all that. There's many stories in the Bible, people, about many very bizarre things. And if you are versed in psychedelics, then you can see that these people were fucking doing them with the things that they were seeing. And today, the stories I'm telling, reciting in my book, are even vastly over and above the greatness of any stupid bullshit story written in the Bible. about seeing a column of cloud and God talking from it, and fucking wheels with 7 eyes and a fucking head of a cow and a lion, and what the fuck? It's just fucking DMT, people. It's just fucking DMT. I've seen figures in the clouds, absolutely as clear as day, as I appear to be now, absolutely as real as this, only made out of cloud. Every fucking little fucking hair on the beard was cloud. As if it was painted by Michelangelo up in the fucking clouds. And there's been cherubims and Greek gods and bat-winged vampire-type creatures and a whole bunch of shit. I've seen all this shit. I've seen vastly more than the spoken about in the Bible. And so nobody wants to say anything about that. Nobody's got anything to say about that. Nobody's got nothing to say about, I've seen some of that shit as well. What the fuck's wrong with you people? What the fuck is wrong with you? The fuck is wrong with you? You see, look, my personality is the yin and yang. I'm a Libra, I'm the scales. I can go either way very fucking easily. And my main propensity, 98%, is just to go let the world fucking burn. Because they deserve nothing. There's nothing important about the pink ape on this planet, 99 point a billion nines. There's only a fucking handful of people on this fucking planet that are worth keeping. Let's just say, for instance, out of 8.5 billion, there's 144,000. I think that's about right, to be fair. The rest of these fucking numpties are shocking degenerates. And there's no reason why they would be here at all. Save for bottling my beer. Knitting my sweaters. And other very important people. So, when you look at the human being, they don't know fuck all about fuck all. All the top scientists, they don't know fuck all about the ego. They know fuck all about the soul. They know fuck all about the spirit. They know fuck all about the spirit world. They know fuck all about what they will find in deep meditation. The vast majority of them, a handful, maybe into a few of these things. But I've listened to hundreds and hundreds of them, and I don't get the impression that any of them know what the fuck they're talking about. They're just looking down a fucking microscope or squiggling some fucking math shit on fucking paper, and they think they're discovering stuff. They're discovering nothing. They don't even know what the fuck it is that is discovering, that's looking, that's writing, that's doing all these experiments. They haven't got a fucking clue what that is. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. It's all a fucking mystery, people. So, what I'm saying here is, in view that I think all you numpties out there would readily accept that there's demons and at a push angels and God, whatever, you know, all kind of like this. You're probably vastly dismissive about all of it. What the fuck do you think is going on here then? What the fuck do you think you are? What is your core essence? Have you ever looked into what the self is? Have you ever discovered the self? Have you ever tried? Have you ever questioned what the fuck is the self? Have you ever looked for it? Have you ever read anybody that's looked for it themselves? Many people of bygone years have looked. And what have they found? Fuck all. Fuck all. But what I found is that at the root, at the absolute root, there is something that never ever goes away. That's consciousness. Consciousness never goes away. And even when we are so-called unconscious, we're asleep or knocked out, there is something that is still conscious. Because something needs to keep pumping the heart. Something needs to keep all of the stuff going on in our bodies to keep it alive. Because if we're left down to the idiots of the world, well, we'd all be dead, wouldn't we? Because we haven't got a fucking clue what's going on in here. We haven't got a clue what's going on in the body, in the mind. Nothing. And you don't even have a fucking clue what's going on outside of the world. You've got no idea how the world's run, no idea about the machination of politics, no idea about all the fucking evil demons and fucking sinister energies and benevolent energy. Nothing. You know nothing. You know nothing. I have never experienced anybody on this channel which has indicated to me that they know what the fuck's going on. And so I'm very Nietzschean in that I'm out there. I'm fucking out there. I'm on my own. And if any of you well, fucking say it and fucking come for a fucking conversation then. And let's hear all your wisdom. But guaranteed, there isn't any. There just isn't any. There is nobody speaking at that level of depth. That level of depth is left to 1 in a billion. So what I'm posing and presenting to you now, people, for something that you might want to consider, between all of your automated, non-descript, fucking superfluous tasks that you're doing from a day-to-day basis. I've got to pay this and I've got to pay that and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. The fuck you got to do anything for? You're looking at a man that hasn't got to do anything. I don't have to do nothing, ever. So why do you think you've got to do stuff? And do you think that you've got more than me? What do you think you've got more than me? You think maybe you drive a Porsche or a BMW or a Jaguar and you can go on all these hard... I've been there, done it. Been there, done it. All of it. Vastly more than 100 of you put together. Been there and done it. What have you got more than me? I haven't done a stroke of work in 14 years. What have you got more than me? Do you know yourself? Are you acquainted with the spiritual dimension? Have you any idea what quantum physicists are speaking about when they speak about all of their phenomenon? Have you got any fucking idea what's going on in the world? You don't know. You don't know. And so these videos, they are suggesting that, look, because you don't know a fucking thing about what you are and what's going on here, then I would have thought if you had an ounce, a modicum, a gnat's cock of cum as a brain, then you might just be open-minded about something in view of the fact you know fucking nothing. So what I'm saying to you is just let's hypothesize for a minute, because we don't know what the fuck's going on here. Freud told us about the ego, the id, ego, super ego, and then Jung told us about archetypes, and Steiner told us about spirits, and Blavatsky, she told us about some of these things also, the phenomenological, and there's a few others that have tapped into it, like Casey. But how many people actually have an insight into any of this stuff? Carl Jung, vastly too intellectual for everybody, except a very, very tiny minority. And so those people were speaking about a supernatural world, a paranormal world, a spiritual world, a non-empirical world. And yet all you drones, That's all you've got to say. You don't think nothing about it. You don't think, do you? You don't think. Thinking isn't even remotely interesting. So if we just hypothesize because we don't know anything about anything, then why could it not be? Bearing in mind that this dimension has been proven to be a metaphysical dimension. It has been proven not to be a physical dimension. All physical matter is Maya. It's illusion. It doesn't exist. And so, the most brilliant brains on the planet have been telling us this for 120 years. And nobody could refute it. So, let's build on that then, shall we? Well, if we are in a metaphysical world, then everything has to be metaphysical. And if everything is metaphysical, then it stands to reason that there would be many spirits around. Because spirits aren't physical, they're metaphysical. And so how would they manifest? As consciousness. Some variety of consciousness. Let's try to get this in perspective, shall we? When we dream at night, we enter into other worlds. We enter into dream worlds where things appear to be very, very real when we're there. But then when we wake up, we go, oh, that was just a dream. Well, when you wake up from this fucking dream, then you'll say the same thing about this fucking dream. But until you wake the fuck up, then you'll be fast asleep and you'll be in a state of somnambulism. Thinking, and even though the most brilliant brains on the planet have been telling you forever, the Buddhists and the Hindus and even our own scientists, they've been telling you there's fuck all here. Even people in the mainstream, like Degrass Tyson, he says, I'm still waiting for someone to convince me we're not in a simulation. He is a person that's interviewed 1,000 of the top grade scientists of this planet. And he's waiting for someone to convince him we're not in a simulation. What he's saying is he's waiting for someone to basically prove that there's anything real going on here and we're not in a computer. This thing isn't a computer. Even people like David Bohm, one of the most brilliant of physicists on the planet, a Nobel laureate, he said that this is a kind of a hologram. A kind of a hologram, people. And so, all of you fools out there, rushing around in your Maya and illusion and delusion and your fantasies and dismissing anything that anybody intellectual says, God, you just fucking cannon fodder for the New World Order. Whenever they want to do whatever they want with you, whenever they don't need you to pack their fucking chickens, you fuckers are history. You fuckers are history. So, if we look at what this thing is, and it's not physical, it's an illusion, then doesn't it stand to reason that, well, there could be many varieties of conscious entities partaking in this one thing? If this thing has some sort of a vibration which enables it to have some sort of illusion of physical form, it's more dense. You see, many people speak about different densities of dimensions, and they say that this one, the Kali Yuga, is the most dense, and it's the one that is the least great. And all others which are higher are lighter and less dense. And so, because of the density, then all of these lighter beings, right, come to this dense dimension to have an experience. But they can't experience their etheric manifestation without entering into some sort of a denser physical form. And so, we all have seen films about possessions and exorcisms and ghosts and all these different sorts of things. And possessions. And so, some of you in your limited intellect may be able to accept that on a level that you don't understand. You've never contemplated, you've never asked how it would work at all. You've seen it on telly and you go, oh yeah, and that's it, isn't it? And so, if this is the metaphysical, then everything's metaphysical. There's nothing physical. It's all spirit. Everything is spirit. And so, just like when we dream, what are we dreaming? We're imagining life forms, aren't we? So can you not go a little step further and imagine that you are being imagined in a bigger brain, in a bigger state of consciousness? Doesn't that seem absolutely doable, real and viable in view of the fact that we have fucking homunculus in our brains, and when you are lying unconscious, the mini me in you, the homunculus, is doing shit and engaging with all different sorts of people that's been created, and some that you think you know, and this, that and the other, and you're doing all this shit. Well, what's the difference between that and then when you supposedly wake up? Can you imagine waking up and waking up and waking up and waking up? Like in that Leonardo DiCaprio movie, Inception. Waking up from one dream into another dream. So, that's what we're doing, people. It's just dreams within dreams. And so, because it's dreams within fucking dreams, then it's just a little bit of mental stimuli. It's just a little bit of thought that says, well, maybe we are a whole conglomerate of energies and ghosts and spirits, and each individuated spirit has a particular vocation. Like they're a plumber, a carpenter, a mechanic, a fucking bricklayer, a computer programmer, all these fucking things, and they come to reside within the human form, to live out vicariously through us. So when people have organ transplants, they get transplanted within them personality traits from the previous owner. So for fuck's sake, Muppets, wake the fuck up already. God's sake, when am I going to get any of you fucking turds to engage with this? You see what happens with a few idiots. Oh yeah, you say this and you say that and you don't explain this, and if you think you know this, and you know that sort of variety of troll, muppet, turd, wanker that think that they know more than I, and yet when I read the shit that they write, they know fucking nothing. They know absolute nothing. And they're just these little demon turds that are sent by bigger demons just to challenge the enlightened ones. Just little gremlins, little pesky gremlins. And then I just delete their comments, but I allow them to put more comments there until they become too much of a fucking pest and a pain in the ass. I just can't be dealing with their lower fucking echelon of intelligence. It's so down there. It's so fucking low. And they go, you don't like criticism. I just go delete, motherfuckers. You're just pre-cum on the end of a gnat's cock. You're just nothing. Absolutely insignificant. If you ever had anything to fucking say, if you ever wanted to engage with me with these varieties of thoughts, then you would have been considerably valuable. But there's never ever been a single person that's ever done that. And so what can I make of my viewers? What can I make of you people? What do you have to say? Can you even say, I'm as dumb as fuck, Aaron? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Aaron. It's like reading Rudolph fucking Steiner, Aaron. My mind's fucking blown, mate. To be fair, I can't comprehend what you're saying. You see, because what I'm saying is very, very feasible, very, very logical. In view of the fact that what the human beings know about this dimension. Some human beings know some stuff. But the vast majority know fuck all. So when you are presenting this stuff to the fuck allers, what do you expect? What do you expect? And so my biggest frustration is I'm dealing with the absolute bottom rung of the fucking YouTube ladder. Really. You know, I would be much better suited to the echelon where Jordan Peterson resides with those intellectuals. But you have to have had a PhD and you have to have a track record and you have to be in their gang. Otherwise you can't get audience with those people. But they all keep it within themselves, you see. They've got a nice little tight-knit fraternity. But that's where my mind is. Those are the sort of people I could hold a conversation with. So let us just try to simplify even more. The video I did prior, I'm asking, how does this come about? How does any of this come about? Oh, it's because you made it, Aaron. You like it, Aaron. It's simply that. It may be as simple as that for you. But for me, it's a whole lot more complex. It's a whole lot more complex. Because there is something going on here which pertains to a billion questions. A billion, gazillion, trillion questions. Questions that this human experience, will never ever come close to answering. Because we will never know. There's nothing that can ever be known here, people. There's only stuff that can ever be speculated upon. Because it's kind of like if you're in a dream and you're saying, what's that and what's this and what's something else? Well, there's nothing there, save for your imagination. So how can any questions be answered? If you are flying a Top Gun jet and you go, what's this fucking jet and how does it work? Well, the higher being will go, there's no fucking jet. It doesn't fucking work. It's just an imagination that it's a jet and it's working. There's no engine, there's no propulsion, there's no thrust, there's nothing going on. There's no aerodynamics at all, people. There's just imagination. We're just imagining this stuff. And so there is nothing there. There's nothing to question because it's all fantasy, you see. And so what we do in this dimension, we put one fantasy on top of another fantasy, on top of another fantasy, on top of another fantasy, and we create our fantasy world. And because we've got everybody believing in this fantasy, it appears to be real. But it's just like Toto in The Wizard of Oz. Once he grabs hold of their curtain and he pulls it aside, then you'll just see the Fat Controller just creating this fiction. There's nothing here, people. It's all fucking Maya. And it's so difficult for you to grasp that because you are in a tiny, tiny circle of consciousness where my consciousness is massive amounts of concentric circles outside of that. And I look into the very, very core of this thing and I don't see a single thing with any reality. It's just a dream in the mind of God. And so if it's just a dream in the mind of God, then why can't we be having spirits that come and go at random? We have a sexy spirit, we have an angry spirit, we have a compassionate spirit, we have a loving spirit, we have an industrious spirit, we have a lazy spirit, we have a natural admiring spirit, we have a concrete dwelling spirit, we have a digital programming spirit. They're just ideas, people. Ideas of programmers, ideas of builders, ideas of dreamers, of singers, of Top Gun fighters, ideas. Everything is a single idea. Take consciousness away. What is here? Nothing. There's nothing to perceive, and there's nothing for anything to perceive. There's nothing. There's just a void. And when you go into the deepest of meditation, that's what you'll find. And sometimes, if you're lucky, when you take the right dose of psychedelics, you'll go to that place. You'll go to the fucking nothing and everything, because you have entered into the collective consciousness of the mind of God. And so I'm just out there for you people, evidently. And even though some of you, you appear to be a little bit well read and you can put some half sensible comments down, I lose you, don't I? Why don't you just say that? And if I don't lose you, then put your fucking money where your mouth is and come and tell me where I'm all wrong about what I'm saying. And tell me in a logical way, break it all down, dismantle it and show it for what it is, a complete fantasy, if you dare. But what I'm saying to you is, along the journey, along the process of doing that, you will realise that you are the fiction of your own fantasy. And so we'll all end up in the same place. Because my logic is irrefutable. What I'm speaking about is irrefutable. Because it is even backed up by all the religions and all the scientists that have worth their fucking salt and all the greatest thinkers on the planet. It's backed up by all of those. There's nothing going on here, people. René Descartes, he sat down in front of his fire one night to just fucking get to the bottom of things. And so he decided that he was going to see if there was any efficacy of any of the things in his life. He couldn't find a single point of efficacy. The only thing that he concluded in the end was there's something that thinks. That's all. Everything else was Maya, illusion, non-dependable. It just fell through his fucking fingers when you look for it. And that's what happens with our scientists, people. When they look further and further and further and further and further down with their quantum microscopes, what do they find? Fuck all. Fuck all. And then they go, shit, there's actually fuck all here. But they don't turn their consciousness in on the thing that's thinking that. They're oblivious to that. They can't turn their scientific minds upon themselves and look with a scientific mind of what it is that's actually thinking. And then, like a few brain surgeons and neuroscientists and this, that and the other, ooh, tweaking here and ooh, looking for consciousness, can't find a fucking thing. Can't find a fucking thing. The consciousness isn't in the brain. The brain is in the consciousness. The human being is in the consciousness. The cosmos is in the consciousness. And that's the biggest problem that the world has today with their limited fucking intelligence. You will only find a handful of fucking people that have concluded this thing. And these people will be the greatest of philosophers, the most time served Buddhists, people like that, because they've seen through the Maya, people. And that's why they've been talking about Maya for 2,000 fucking years. They knew it 2,000 fucking years ago. And yet all these scientists busybodying around with chemicals and atoms and molecules, there's nothing. Fucking nothing. And now they've discovered that there's fucking nothing, they don't know what the fuck to do. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? So I look around here and I go, well, look, there's many spirits working through me. There's spirits that I'm channeling this genius fucking information to you guys. There are entities that channel through me to play the guitar, to sing, to have a relationship with these very bizarre fungi. Not an animal, not a plant, an alien. In actual fact, an alien. Why have they chosen me to investigate them, to participate in them? Good question. Why has the natural world chosen me? Why has the green man chosen me? Why has the cosmos chosen me? Why did God, Jesus, Satan and angels choose me? Maybe one day I'll find the answer. But until then, I'm just posing these questions. And I'm shedding some light on the complete and utter fiction that you are. That this is 1,000,000,000% fiction. All an invention. All a creation in the mind of God.